Good morning. Today and today only, we get our reading from the prophet Nahum. It might be the only time in the course of the church's liturgy today, that is the Friday in the 18th week of Ordinary Time, that we will hear of the prophet Nahum. So, just to give you a little bit of a background as to what this book is all about, Nahum lives in Judah. So, remember, Judah is the southern kingdom around 625 BC. So let's put that date into its historical perspective. The Assyrians, the Assyrian Empire, that is, conquered the northern kingdom, Israel, around 721 BC. And so they're a threat sitting up there up north of Judah, north of the southern kingdom, sitting there as a threat to the people of Judah. And, you can only imagine, as the enemies really nearby, the people are wondering, are we next? We know now in history that that's not the case. The Assyrians will be about 30 years later be conquered by the Babylonians, but as we know very well from our readings from Jeremiah, that the Babylonians are going to be the threat and eventually conquer and destroy pretty much everything in the southern kingdom in Judah, including the temple. And then we have that great and famous 3 waves of the exile. So as the people of Judah are wondering and uncertain, Nahum comes into the picture and proclaims the absolute and incomparable sovereignty of God. And that's what we get in our first reading. We get Nahum talking to the people of Judah, but really it's directed towards the Assyrians to tell them that, one day their power that they show and their great and mighty majesty kingdom will one day fall. And again, as we know, that will eventually be the case. But ultimately, all power, all sovereignty that we have and we possess in life comes from God. We don't get it so much in the first reading, but again, this is the only day that we have it. But towards the end of the book, Nahum also gives a warning to the southern kingdom to make sure that their ways are the ways of the Lord, to make sure their conduct is in accord with the covenant and with the Lord's teaching. Always has a somber reminder that just because, they have this special, unique covenant relationship with God, it doesn't mean that they have a license to sin and a license to move their hearts away from the Lord and from their neighbor. So always a reminder, not only to them, but also to us as Christians, that really what we have and what we possess in the new covenant with Jesus Christ, it actually a lot more is expected of us, not a lot less. And Nahum also tells the people of Judah that as well. The Assyrians will pay in terms of justice for all the violence and bloodshed that they have. As the saying goes, live by the sword, die by the sword. But it's also a stark reminder for them and for us. Faithfulness and the love of God must be our first priority in life. Even before we engage in the world and engage with those that want to persecute us and those types of things, we must make sure that our house and our conduct is in order. Like I said, from what God has given us, He has given us plenty, and at the same time, more is expected from us. May God bless you.